Kia ora koutou ko te wifi mori hou. And today, in lieu of this whole idea I've had of making this channel more about cooking stuff, we're going to be talking about knives. That's right. Ko te kōrero nei, ngā naihi. Today's chat will be about knives, so without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so you're probably wondering what today's topic is. We're going to be talking about Japanese knives. All the types, construction, metals, that shit. So yeah, let's get into this. To start with, I'm going to go over the different types of steels in your Japanese knives. So for starters, we have ginsa, or stainless, stuff like that. Then we have shirogami, or like fucking the other one below it, the other white paper, I forgot the name. Trust me, no one cares. Then we have aogami, and then there's actually another one that not really many people are talking about, which is hagane. Like if it's real hagane, like shit they used to make katanas out of, like fucking buy it. That's what that's what my boss's knife dealer said. If it's got actual hagane, fucking buy it. But it's pretty rare. No one really uses it for knives commonly because it's way more expensive and you'd use it for a katana. So, the main categories you're going to be caring about is stainless, shirogami, and aogami. Yeah. I am Nihongo Jozu, trust me. Anyways, for the differences, I'm going to just grab, here we have a stainless steel, or ginsan, stuff like that. As you can see, pretty typical stainless steel knife, chromium content, all that shit. Stainless steel does not mean it won't rust, it will rust, and actually, the thing is with stainless steel, when it does rust, it's actually worse because it'll burrow down into the knife. Like, you can't scrape that away, it's gone straight through the knife. So that's one of the reasons why carbon steel is better in my opinion. But anyways, then, fuck, wrong knife. We also have knives like this, which are carbon steel, and well, this one specifically is aogami too. And as you can see, formed patina, that's how you can tell it's carbon steel, because it formed a patina and it's not overly shiny and it rusts when anything wet touches it for too long, like even my hands. I should fucking wipe that. But anyways, when it comes to aogami and shirogami, those two are basically your carbon steels. Shirogami has a lower tungsten and chromium content, and aogami has a higher tungsten and chromium, I think, content. And basically what that means is aogami is harder, will retain its edge longer, and can handle daily sharpening, such as what we do at my restaurant. Coming in at 2 every day, like 1 minute per knife, just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, then maybe just, strop it, then bam, sharp enough for the day. Then do it again the next day, still stays super sharp 24/7 without removing too much, because I use like, a lighter stone. So that's basically the difference between all three of your hardnesses, metals. And then you have the differentiation between 1 and 2 and super. Now when it comes to aogami, it goes in terms of lower carbon content to higher carbon content. You go aogami 2, aogami 1, then aogami super. And then for shirogami, it's just 1 and 2. I don't think there's a super normally for it. But more carbon, that also makes it harder and it will last longer. So yeah, that's all the kōrero for the metals. Righto, so now that I've gone over the steels that you get in your knife, it's time to go over the what's the wording? The biology of your knife, if you will. As you can see here, we have this is my aogami super gyuto, so this baby's going to last a very long time. It has a stainless cladding, which I'll get into what that means later. But basically, nowadays, pretty much all Japanese knives are made using the sanmai welding technique, whatever you want to call it, forging technique, where sanmai means 3 thin things, 3 and counter for thin things. So they get 3 sheets of metal, pound them together, which allows you to do shit like this, where you got like a stronger core and a softer outer core. or cladding, or whatever you want to call it. What a yapster I am. Anyways, this means that you can get the hard, brittle core, perfect for an edge, that stays sharp and shit. But you can also get a softer outer core, which means you don't have to, spend as much on carbon and like higher carbon steel, and has the advantage of now, your knife has both the really hard center and the softer outside, which will make it stronger overall. Plus, with shit like this, with the stainless cladding, this makes it so that now only the edge here, the core steel, only that can rust and patina. Meanwhile, this stays clean all the time pretty much, which is pretty fucking good. Now, of course, you can also get ironclad ones, which will basically just rust the same, but obviously still harder inner core, softer outer steel. Anyways, now down to the handle, and we'll go back to kōrero and stuff later, talk about that. Anyways, for the handle, this is obviously a wa style handle, Japanese style handle. I just waxed it with beeswax, that's why it's all like kind of white and cummy or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, this is obviously made from some good wood, and the tang for a wa handle, the tang is like about halfway-ish or somewhere around here. And it's just stuck in there with like glue and heat and friction. Because if you look, you can't really see it, can you? If you look in there, obviously, you got some wood, 2 pieces of wood that pinch the tang together that are also glued in, and it's like hammered on when the tang is really hot. And that keeps it real nice and snug and watertight, so that it won't get wet in the tang and rust away and just fall off on you. Now, as if it was a your style handle, which is a Western one, it would just be a full tang, some rivets, kind of more normal knife handle with like the fun bit there. But no one cares about that. Anyways, back to blade stuff. This knife actually has both things I'm intending on talking about here. As you can see here, this black part, that is your kōrero, which is basically just the surface of the steel after it was, forged. It's still black, unpolished. It's more of like a rustic look thing, which adds the benefit that your knife will not rust where the kōrero is, because it protects it from any, acidic foods or just stuff rusting in your knife, like water. Obviously, acid and friction can wear away your kōrero. If you look here, you can see a few bits where it's been, washed away or rubbed off. But for the most part, your kōrero is pretty tough. It's not going to come off like nothing. You're going to take some effort, which I'll show you what happens when you accidentally do that in a bit with my nakiri. But anyways, then also here, we have the hammer marks. I think it's tsuchimi, something like that. These have the benefit of looking cool, and also when when you're cutting food, it helps it release because of all the air pockets in here. So your food goes up, falls off. Pretty simple. Now then, on to knife shapes. Rightio. Now then, I was going to go into more detail, but my phone doesn't have enough space. So we're going to make this a bit quicker so I can cut down on how many fucking gigabytes of film is in my poor phone. Oof. Okay, to start off with, fuck it, I grabbed it first. This is one of the first knives I've ever been gifted, and it was gifted to me by my boss. This is a stainless steel yanagiba with a wa handle. Oh wait, no. A your handle. Your handle, Western one, as I was saying before, full tang, rivets, yeah. Anyway, so this one, sashimi, sushi, those type of uses, single beveled. I'll go into more detail later about single bevel versus double bevel. Okay, so while my phone still has some storage, I'm going to quickly go over a couple type of knives. Here, we have our vegetable knives. Usuba, nakiri, you already know the difference, I showed you before. They have a pretty rectangle, flat edge, which allows them perfect cutting board contact. Which means you can cut through shit really easily, especially with a push cut, which is how they're intended to be used. Next up, we got Deba, single beveled fish and sometimes chicken butchery knife. Bit of a thicker spine, thicker edge, which allows you to go through bones without worrying about breaking your knife or chipping it. I already have the footage for the Yanagiba, so that's good. Next we have the gyuto, which is based off Western chef knives. General use. Gyuto means fish. Cow sword. Brain rot's getting to me. You can use it like a rocking. You can use it push. You can use it pull. You can do tip drag. You can pretty much do everything with a gyuto. That's the point. Radio here we got a petty knife. This is good for real delicate details, and if it was slightly longer and thinner, it'd be a honitsuke, which is for deboning chicken. Radio. Next up we got a santoku. You can use it, it's a general purpose knife, just shorter, a bit more of a belly to rock with it. Anyways, then we got a bunka, which is pretty much the same, but it's got a V-tip and a flatter belly, which is better for these type of cuts. And if it was a bit longer, it'd be a kiritsuke, which is like a gyuto, but shaped like this. And also, they come in single bevel types if it's a kiritsuke, but kiritsuke can also be in double bevel nowadays. And yeah, that's pretty much the general breakdown of Japanese knives. I guess if you want to get into a little more detail, you have stuff like a takohini, which is basically like a yanagiba, but with an usuba tip, kinda, just a cut off tip. And then there's also the sakimaru, which is kind of like just a V-tip version of a yanagiba. And there's also a funatsuke, I don't remember the name. It's for cutting fucking pufferfish. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the knives. Rightio, now to go into the difference between single and double bevel knives. So to start off with single bevel knife here, I have an usuba, which is a vegetable cutting knife. Now here we can see we have the spine of the knife, then the shinogi and the shinogi line here, and the edge. Now this basically just means the bevel. Now for single bevel knife, obviously there's only one, so bam, the ura, or back of the knife. As you can see here, we have the uraoshi, which is basically just this rim of the knife, which is completely flat when you put it down. However, inside the uraoshi is the ura something else, I forgot the name, which is actually convex, which allows for easier release of the food, as well as on here, obviously. Because when it comes to knives, if you have a pretty, if it's all basically just one grind from here down to here, then the food's not really going to want to release. It gets stuck pretty easy. Which is why stuff like a concave ura and also the shinogi just not going all the way to the top allows for food to release easier, making your day easier. Now, why a single beveled knife? Because it can be sharper, which is very important for sashimi and just for making really fine slices, because finer slice, finer piece of food looks better and you break less cells. It's a fuller piece, it doesn't break apart. Now then, for a double beveled knife, in this case a nakiri, because there's really only two knives I have to compare. For nakiri, obviously, double beveled knife, obviously we have the flat of the knife, the bevel, and the edge. Same both sides. The advantage, it's the same on both sides. It's easier to use because, I forgot to mention this before, but with a single beveled knife, it will have a tendency to slightly curve in the direction of the ura, which basically means as you keep cutting, you're slowly gonna move that edge like that as you keep going until you fucked up your cut completely and you have to probably restart or it looks ugly. With a nakiri though, that's all you. If it starts going like this, that's all your own fault. You fucking suck at cutting. But anyways, this allows you to get a more consistent... I just hit it on the bench. Fuck. A more consistent cut. You don't really have to worry about it moving to one side or the other. It's all you. And as well as that, it's also slightly tougher because it's just more material behind the edge. A thicker edge is a stronger edge, but a thicker edge is also a less sharp edge. So slightly duller, but slightly more durable, which is pretty good if you end up hitting it on your fucking board. But anyways, that's the difference between a single bevel and a double bevel knife for Japanese knives. That's basically every fucking knife I can think of that's a Japanese knife. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll make more detailed versions of this shit later, because I am not dealing with my fucking phone storage right now. With that out of the way, ngāmihi for watching this video. I love knives, if you can't tell. Yeah, ka kita no e te whānau. I'll make a review for some of these knives eventually.